Welcome to Get to the Hook. I am your co-host, Charles Latibeaudiere.
And I'm your co-host, Eric Colley.
And we have got some big headlines in the music world this week that we got to cover. Very quickly, we're not going to get into all the details of it. And honestly, there aren't that many at this point. But Diddy's criminal trial has finally begun. This is the federal indictment against him. These are not the civil lawsuits with all the wild allegations. These are 4 counts he is facing against the government, and they are, as we speak right now, in the middle of jury selection. Is expected to be done this week, and then the trial will begin on Monday, the 12th. Right. So
we've seen some of the prospective jurors that were not selected coming out of the courthouse. One said that he had to say that he would not discuss the sexual assault with his peers. He's like, I can't promise that. So,
right.
But if you want to know more about it, we do have a new podcast launching. Our lawyers, Jason Beckerman and Derek Kaufman, are hosting Behind the Bar, The Trial of Diddy. It's going to be a daily podcast with all the trial updates as they happen. So good. That means we don't have to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Let them handle that. And also, of course, you can get more on Two Angry Men on Harvey's podcast. He and Mark Garagos will be discussing that. By the way, that podcast actually came up in the case because prosecutors were upset that Mark Garagos, they feel he is consulting with Diddy's team. He's not actually on the...
But his daughter is.
But his daughter is one of Diddy's lead attorneys. And they felt like he shouldn't be discussing the case on the podcast.
So listen to it and find out what they don't want you to hear them talking about.
Exactly.
Too hot for podcast.
Exactly. So Two Angry Men and Behind the Bar. That's where you get all your Diddy updates. We're going to move on to some other headlines now.
Real quickly, Lady Gaga. This was shocking and kind of horrifying. She had her concert in Rio de Janeiro last weekend.
We need a different term for it than just concert. When they do these Rio concerts where they just line Copacabana Beach,
2 million people.
2 million people. That's not just a concert. That's that's a city.
That's bigger than most U.S. states. Like a lot of states don't have 2 million people in their population.
Right. But they were all there on the beach. And the terrifying part is that police say there was a plot to kill as many people as possible. A bomb plot that they foiled, luckily. But they didn't tell Gaga about it.
I just have a hard time getting my head around that. They knew about this very credible threat, these 2 guys who were very anti-LGBT. They were trying to recruit teenagers online to show up to the concert with Molotov cocktails and improvised bombs and just create havoc and murder. And they didn't tell Lady Gaga. I guess the
so they caught
in Brazil,
they caught the alleged ringleaders.
They thought okay, this is taken care of. This is not a threat right now. But still, you never know, especially because of the nature of it, that they were trying to recruit people online to come and do this. What if they recruited somebody?
What if they got one person, 2 people? And obviously it wouldn't have been as big, but still, who knows? In a crowd that's packed.
The bombs going off would have been horrible enough anyway. But then the panic and the trampling and it would have been a chaos.
So the argument for not telling Gaga, I guess, is, if I'm going to be a little cynical, is motivated by money. That you don't want her to cancel the show, and you don't have this huge gathering of people who are spending money in Rio. That's why they love having these concerts, why they have the Rock in Rio Festival.
And it was a free show, so Gaga wasn't making money from the ticket sales. It was a free show. That's why 2 million people showed up. You're right, because would Gaga have canceled it? Probably. Taylor Swift did when she had a bomb threat. Where was that? In Europe. Yeah, Austria. But still, just that Gaga should know to be kind of aware.
In case something goes down, and what's the protocol? What are we going to do?
But then if something did happen and you find out Gaga did know about it but didn't tell the crowd, then she's going to be liable to so many civil suits.
Right, and so maybe people around her are like, we're going to protect her from this. We're aware of it. We're comfortable that the police have, thwarted this attempt, and so.
But she found out when she saw the story posted, like everyone else did.
Yeah,
she's like, what? That's not what you want to find out about.
Shocking to me that someone, even after the concert, didn't say something to her, because the concert happened on Saturday night.
Right.
I think it was on Sunday morning when they revealed that they had stopped the plot.
Right. So she thinks she has this amazing concert for 2 million people, which she did.
Yeah.
And then the next morning you find out, oh, by the way.
Oh, there's a little thing that could have happened.
It's just scary times.
Look, the good news is nothing happened.
Nothing happened.
So this is all just Monday morning quarterbacking.
Right.
Or whatever day it is when you're listening to this.
It's just wild that she didn't know. That's just incredible.
Yeah.
You want to talk about something that got you really riled up? Have you changed your opinion on this now? Lisa from Blackpink, also a solo artist, also was on White Lotus.
Yeah, a very successful
breakout star from White Lotus.
Everything,
everything.
Is the triple threat. But Lisa showed up at the Met Gala, which went down this past Monday, and it's always a big event, and celebs always wear. Sometimes they're wild fashion, sometimes they're not as wild. This year, the theme was, what was it? Black tailored. It basically.
I'm gonna get it wrong if I try and say it, but
in not as many words, it was about Black excellence in fashion, and Lisa, who everybody wanted to see and see what she was going to wear, showed up wearing underwear with Rosa Parks' face embroidered into it. Now, to be fair to her, the underwear is what really got everyone's attention because it felt very offensive. Like, why would you do that? Why would you put Rosa Parks' face on your butt?
Well, it was on her crotch.
It was on her crotch as well. All right, so
you were zooming in to make sure. I know, I saw.
But it was, hey, Eric, I'm a journalist,
That's
okay?
right.
And I need to check these things out.
You got to zoom in on crotches sometimes.
Now, it was also her jacket. So the whole outfit, she had a jacket that was lace, and embroidered into the lace was Rosa Parks' face. And a lot of people, when they saw this as she walked in, were so offended. People do what they do. They ran to social media. What the hell is she doing? Why, this is so offensive. And why would you do this to Rosa Parks' memory? If you're angry at Lisa for wearing that, you also have to be angry at Pharrell Williams. Because before she walked out onto that red carpet, once she had the outfit on, was with Pharrell, and he gushed about how she nailed the theme.
So you were angry at Lisa. So you hate Pharrell. That's what you're saying.
I didn't understand. And to be honest, I thought maybe it was unfair to go after Lisa because she's not raised in this country. She's from Thailand, I believe.
Yeah.
And she maybe doesn't know the full context. And the way the Met Gala works, if you don't know, is that designers work all year to come up with something for the theme, and then they're paired with a celebrity, or a celebrity goes to that designer, and this is what you get to wear. It's very rare that the celebrity is saying, I want this, make this for me.
We should also say, isn't Lisa's boyfriend the son of like Louis Vuitton?
Yes.
So he's
That's right.
part of that industry.
Right, and in fact, her Louis Vuitton was part of her. I remember seeing the LV.
Yeah, it was on the leggings.
Stockings or something, yeah. I said stockings because I'm old. You were cool.
Stockings.
Eric's like leggings. Anyway.
Whatever. They were like stockings,
And so I just felt like maybe she didn't have the full context, and the designer had made this, and everything I read is that the designer is a Black man, so he certainly understood the context and was cool with this.
Did he know he was making this when he designed it, that it was going to be worn by Lisa?
That I have not read.
Because if
it does
a Black woman had worn this, would that change the perception of it? Or is it still just inappropriate? Or does that even make it more inappropriate?
To me, I still think it's inappropriate. It's the jacket I get, but putting it on your underwear.
It's weird. And it wasn't just Rosa Parks. There were a lot of other faces embroidered in that. I couldn't tell who everybody was.
Yeah.
But
it would still feel inappropriate to me. But look, if Pharrell said this was in line with it, okay. I still wouldn't have chosen to wear that.
Not something you like, but you'll defer to Pharrell.
Look, he's Mr. Fashion, and he said it was perfect. So,
and honestly, does this make you think? I don't know how much you thought about Lisa one way or the other before, but does it make you think less of her? It's not racist on her part.
No, because I don't. There's
maybe not even tone deaf. If they just say, "Hey, these are,"
that she knew, and that she was like, "Oh, I want to be edgy by putting this civil rights hero on my underwear." Like
if you were doing a fashion show, and obviously Lisa's been an American pop star for a long time, but if you're at some fashion event in Thailand and they give you a jacket with faces embroidered on it and say, these are famous historical figures,
I mean, I might ask.
Maybe, but even so, would you then think, well, this is very inappropriate for me to wear this?
It depends on how quickly I could read the Wikipedia of each of those.
There you go.
Each of those people, and also, God, there's so much to be outraged about these days.
Yeah,
and maybe this isn't it. Don't you feel like you have to measure your outrage these days? Because I don't want to get all worked up on a Wednesday when on Saturday something else is going to happen. And
right.
I don't have it in me anymore, man.
No, I'm not like boycott Lisa or Pharrell. It's one of those things you just see it and you go, ugh. And
I go, look, for me, wouldn't choose to. You do you.
Yeah, I guess. All right.
So I'm moving on from that.
R.I.P. Rosa Parks.
Yeah.
Switching completely gears here, we're going to talk a little bit about the return of metal to the top of the charts.
Yeah, this is I'm shocked. You just told me about the #1 album. I didn't realize that these guys had the #1 album in America.
Yeah, not on a genre chart or a sales chart. On the overall Billboard 200 album chart, the #1 album this week, the first #1 album for the Swedish black metal band Ghost. If you're not familiar with Ghost, they've been around for a while. This is their 6th album. And this is one of the lead singles. The first single is a song called "Satanized." I'm not going to play that one. This is their song "Lacrima."
I would say it's been 20, 30 years since we've had that kind of sound.
Well,
anything close to that?
The last metal album or hard rock album to hit #1 was just 5 years ago in 2020, but it was the last album by AC/DC.
Oh, okay.
So yes, it was a new album by a band that's been around for 50 plus years. So yeah, it's not a common thing at the top of the album charts anymore.
You don't hear that sound at the top of the charts.
No, and Ghost has been building their audience. They started in 2006. The lead singer is a guy named Tobias Forge, who every time they put an album out, if you're not familiar with this, Google the images.
Is this him? That's not him, right?
No.
All right, the other one.
So he kind of dresses like the Pope, but like with black makeup and like a white cross on his face usually. And every album that came out, he would have a new alias. So the first albums, he was Papa Emeritus 1 through 4. Then he was Cardinal Copia. Now I think he's Papa Perpetua. And it's very theatrical.
Very appropriate considering conclave going on. By the time you're listening to this, we probably have a new pope already.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be Tobias Forge, but the band, they're Swedish and like death metal, black metal, heavy metal is very popular in Sweden. It got big there in the 90s and 2000s, kind of after its heyday in America in the 80s. But they do the very theatrical thing. They're all into like Satanism, in which terrifies a lot of people. And it's like the 80s satanic panic that happened.
Right.
Tobias said he had a brother who was, I think, 14 years older than him. So his brother was, around
probably
the 80s. So when he was a kid,
we were listening to.
He would get his brothers like Motley Crue, Shout at the Devil album, and Kiss records and stuff like that. And he was very into it. The other band members, we don't know who they are. They wear complete makeup and outfits. They are just called the Nameless Ghouls.
They get no credits?
They're just the Nameless Ghouls.
This is brilliant.
Lots of members have come and gone.
Dave Grohl out all the time.
Dave Grohl sat in with Ghost once, apparently. This is the story. But he had the costume on and was just a nameless ghoul, and nobody knew Dave Grohl was playing with the band because he's a big fan of theirs, which you would imagine.
Yeah.
But yeah, Skeletor is #1 this week. Sold 86,000 copies, 44,000 on vinyl, which is the best vinyl sales week for a hard rock album since 1991 when they started tracking actual sales. So it's been almost 40 years since a heavy metal hard rock album sold that many records.
Kudos to Ghost.
Yeah.
Does this mean rock is coming back?
It could be. Oh,
I mean,
funny thing. There's a metal themed restaurant in Chicago. I found this. They did a song in honor of Ghost called "The Ghost," and the sandwich was goat shoulder, red wine reduction, and a communion wafer. I mean,
wow.
I get why that terrifies people to this day, but to me, it just remembering like all the satanic bands,
the level of sacrilege, the level of sacrilege.
It's just guys in costumes.
Stunning.
Another band, huge right now. Their album comes out actually this coming Friday, May 9th. It's the band Sleep Token. Have you heard of them?
I can't say I have.
They are a British band. This is going to be their 4th album, and they've been building an audience. Not been as big as Ghost. This is the second single from this album, a song called Caramel, actually debuted in the top 40 on the Billboard Pop Singles chart.
I like the title.
This is a little bit of Caramel.
So let me see those stick
can I tell you something? It doesn't.
Melodic.
It's very melodic. And
there's a heavier part to that song, and their songs that's kind of the structure of a lot of their songs. Is it has this sort of almost emo, poppy melodic thing, and then it just goes heavy.
It reminds me of Linkin Park, actually.
Kinda, a little bit.
I mean, a little heavier, but that's
like with this sad, mournful vocal with it. You can hear his British accent a bit. I kind of expect their album, if it's not number one when it comes out, top 5 certainly. It's going to do very well.
Got a good sound.
Billboard has a hot hard rock tracks chart, and right now Sleep Token have the top 3, which not a lot of competition.
Sleep Token and Ghost coming at you.
Yeah, they're number 4, Ghost. And interesting, I find too, Sleep Token, like Ghost, are very anonymous. They we don't know the lead singer's real name. He just goes by the name Vessel. The other members of the group are just named Roman numerals. They don't have names, and they all are completely covered. Vessel, we never see him. There's a UK British metal magazine called Metal Hammer. Sleep Token did an interview with them when they were first coming out. That's the only interview they've ever done. So they have done one interview,
and yet
we don't know who they are, but people are connecting with them in a big, big way. And it's amazing to keep that kind of anonymity in the social media age when people can Google things and take pictures.
Keep the anonymity, and the fact that you have people in show business who are fine with not getting name recognition.
Yeah, that you can become a huge celebrity now without going to social media and posting everything about your life and creating this drama. Ghost has kind of done that. And honestly, the only reason we found out that Ghost, the lead singer, the Papa Emeritus, that his name was Tobias Forge, is because in 2017, there was a lawsuit from past members of the group over rights to names and things.
Right.
And so he finally had to be like, okay, well, this is my name and I own this. And it just became a legal dispute. Otherwise, we probably wouldn't know who he was either.
Oh, so some of the past members were upset with
not
getting credit.
Yeah, there was some credit issues there.
Okay.
But it's just crazy seeing this kind of, not just a heavy sound, but this theatrical kind of.
Yeah, that's. I mean, you're right. That does take us back to.
Like, remember Kiss? You never saw their faces.
Then you founding member of the Kiss Army.
Oh yeah. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
You remember King Diamond in the 80s?
I haven't paid my dues in a while though.
Gene Simmons will come collect. Yeah. Don't you worry. You are overdue. Slipknot, Mudvayne, Gwar, all these kind of bands that wear masks and costumes and hide their identities. That just seemed like such an outdated thing that would not be possible in the social media age. But here's 2 bands, not only both doing it, but being very, very successful with it.
Well,
and shows kids like hard rock. There's been so many stories for years that rock is dead, it's gone, hip hop killed it. Kids like rap, they like pop, they like dance, they don't want to hear rock music.
I mean,
it's not true.
I mean, the reason things are cyclical that way is everyone is influenced by whatever music they listen to between, 10 and 19, right?
Yeah.
And if you like what you like, if it's popular, then when you get older and you start making, you're gonna gravitate toward that music that you like. So everything comes back.
Yeah.
Because people keep getting born.
And kids
people
now
keep listening to different.
Yeah, and kids now can discover rock much easier than you could have, say, 10 years ago. When there were no big rock bands, there were no, albums to stream or download or whatever. Now, if a kid wants to hear some old 70s or 80s heavy metal or Scandinavian black metal, which is big again, they can do that very easily.
Speaking of rock, just a quick aside, I saw a guy this weekend that I just discovered. I know you're going to go, really? You just discovered Marcus King?
No, okay.
Marcus King, what a revelation. God, this man can play guitar. Yeah. And it was, I don't know, it's eye-opening to me. I was like,
speechless.
And I almost didn't go, and someone said to me, no, you should go check out Marcus King. You'd like him, because it's like a Southern rock kind of sound, and kind of Allman Brothers, and I was listening to it, and I go, yeah, this is like Allman Brothers meets Black Crowes. It's almost like Chris Stapleton, but without the country artifice.
Right.
And I do say country artifice, not as a slight to country music. I just think that Chris Stapleton is really a blues artist
who just puts a
little country,
little twang,
puts country twang on it,
radio twang. But it's a thin line between Southern rock and country, especially now. You've got all these younger country artists who grew up listening to Southern rock, who it's all kind of bled over. But yeah, there are still a lot of very talented guitar players and people who can put on a show and play live.
His closing song, his encore, was Rambling Man.
Oh, nice.
So there you go.
Had all the harmonies and everything.
Oh yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, it was really good. So anyway, if you haven't heard of Marcus King, check him out. That's my quick note there.
And speaking of live shows, got to talk real quickly about Beyonce.
Yes, because Beyonce was holding court here in LA for, what, a week?
Yeah, the Cowboy Carter tour is kicked off.
Kicked off at SoFi Stadium.
And some have complained, some love that she brings both of her daughters out. Blue Ivy does a dance number during Deja Vu.
We saw her on the last tour, but Rumi,
her
make
youngest
room
daughter,
for Rumi,
who was technically featured on the song Protector on Cowboy Carter as just a child talking. It wasn't like she sang. She brings Rumi out. When you watch the videos of it, the fans are going crazy. Of course, the Beehive loves seeing Beyonce, the mom. They love seeing her children, especially Rumi, who you don't see very often. They love it. But if you're a casual fan and you go, is it irritating that when an artist brings their child out? You know, Pink did this on her tour. Her daughter Willow comes out and sings the song Cover Me in Sunshine with her. Alicia Keys brings her son Egypt out. You said you saw...
Yeah, I saw Train over the weekend. I was at the Beach Life Music Festival. That's why you saw so many different acts.
You're trying to make excuses.
I wasn't running around to like different...
You just were...
No, I wasn't making an excuse for...
The Kiss Army and the Train passengers, whatever their fans are called.
I have varying tastes. But yes, Pat Monahan brought out his son, who sang a couple songs. And
how old's his son?
It seemed like he was, I don't know, 13, 14, something like that.
Okay. But is it more
But
annoying
he was
when it's a
actually
little
performing.
kid?
He was singing.
Yeah.
And sang lead on a couple of songs. So
I got annoyed last year. I saw Alanis Morissette, and her daughter Onyx came out, who I think was 8 at the time, and she also had it was like a stage manager or makeup artist or somebody in her entourage, but not a band member, brought her daughter out. It was about the same age. The two daughters first was like, oh, cute, it's Alanis' kid, cool. Then she had them start singing Ironic. It's like, okay.
You get to the hits. Yeah, you want...
Okay, it's cute. And then they did like the first verse and the chorus, and Alanis kind of like, sang along sort of to the side, but not really. And then the kids were done. It's like, okay, that's cute. Now do Ironic. They didn't. That was it. That's all we got.
Would have been really impressive if you kept the kids out there to do You Ought to Know. I want to hear the kids sing that song.
No, I don't. That seems like some sort of crime. I don't know.
Yeah, it would be.
She didn't sing the song herself. Have your kid do it. Cute, fine. But that's all we got. And obviously, I like a lot of Alanis songs other than just Ironic. That's not even my favorite song of hers. But still, I didn't pay all this money to hear your kids sing it.
Here's the problem. I think it's fine when they bring out the kids for like a moment, and that's totally fine. And I get it for them, for the artist. Cute. It's cool to be out there and share it with your family. So I don't begrudge an artist that. When it starts to feel like filler, like you're just stretching out the show.
Like when Blue Ivy did a whole dance number?
You're
kicking the Beehive.
No. That doesn't bother me because I think Blue Ivy clearly has an interest and a passion in dancing. So, yes, she's out there because it's her mom's show.
Right.
But it's not like she doesn't really want to do this. Yeah. So I'm fine with Blue Ivy. I don't have an issue with it.
It's not like the parents making the kid come in and play the piano when the guests are over or something. Like, come play your piano. Right. Like, no, I don't want to do this.
And I will say, after hearing your Alanis story, I saw Alanis this weekend also. She did not have her kids come out and do Ironic or any songs. So I'm happy for that.
Fine to let her do it. But then I thought, okay, well, they're either going to start the song over or she's going to pick up and do like the other verses and stuff. No, they were just like, okay, next song. What?
Can I tell you, I was actually disappointed by her set list in general.
Really?
And I don't know like deep catalog of Alanis Morissette, but it could have used a couple more hits. Let's just put it that way. And it was also...
She didn't play them, or you think she didn't have them?
She didn't play them. No, I know she has them. She didn't play them. I mean...
Oh, did she play like just new stuff or like deeper?
She played some new stuff, and then she played like... I consider it deeper because I didn't really know this. And also, they were just slower songs.
Yeah.
You need some energy, and it was like she was the last performer of the entire festival.
Oh.
And so you wanted to go out with a bang.
It was kind of a lower vibe. When I saw her at the Forum, and it's cool because we had like decent seats, but we weren't super close. And then in the middle of the show, she and the whole band came out and had a extra set in the middle of the auditorium. So then we wound up being like third row, which was really cool.
Sweet.
But the opening act when I saw her was Joan Jett, who was nothing but energy.
Yeah. So you
have this like really intense, like Joan Jett rocking out. Because Joan Jett can still rock out.
Yeah.
And then Alanis, it's a little chiller.
Yeah.
But I love that album and her other songs, so it was cool. Just I wanted to hear not just the kids sing Ironic.
Let me put it to you this way. You know who had more energy than the Alanis show? The Beach Boys and 84-year-old Mike Love. 84 had more energy.
Yeah.
I mean, John Stamos. And they have a bunch of other people. Fun. But it was cool.
Yeah. But I guess for the kids, particularly for female artists, if you're a mom and it should be true for dads too, but it's not always the same. But if you're going on the road for 6, 7, 8 months, you want to bring your kids with you.
Yeah.
And then bringing them into the show.
If there's a way to bring them into the show.
I get that. So with that, we also got to talk about Mother's Day.
Ah, yes.
Make sure you order those flowers. Oh, I see you doing it right now. Oh, we should have had your mom call in again.
I
love her stories about you. I love her stories about baby Charles wearing his towel as Elvis. Do you have a favorite song about moms? The first one that comes to my head usually is Tupac's Dear Mama.
Yes. It usually is the one
that song for Mama Boyz II Men. Mother by Danzig.
Danzig has one?
Mother, you know that
I don't
song.
know it.
Some country songs, Mama Tried, Merle Haggard. But one of my favorites, because I love it, because I love some Philly soul. And we are going to get to Philly on our musical maps. But The Intruders, remember them? They had the song Cowboys to Girls was a hit.
Yes.
Early 70s, late 60s. They have a song, and I first knew this song because Raphael Sadiq sampled it for his song Get Involved in the late 90s. Oh. But it's this song. This is for all the moms. This is The Intruders. I'll always love my mama.
I'll always love my mama. She's my favorite girl.
Not a huge hit on the pop charts, R&B. It was a big hit. Yeah.
That's a good one.
I'll always love my mama.
That's a good one.
You will love yours?
Of course.
She's my favorite girl.
I always love my mama. Always love my mama.
So yeah, make sure
even
you get
though
those
the flowers may not arrive on time,
Oops.
but I will always love my
Got
mama.
to overnight those.
Yeah. You still got time. Go out and get you. So you're probably not going to get the card there in time, depending on how far you are from mom. But
get her some flowers, some candy, a copy of that new Ghost album, all the things moms want for Mother's Day.
Oh my gosh, the look
moms,
on my mom's
if there's
face.
one thing moms love, it's Ghost song Satanized. They really love that song.
I can't even tell you the look. If I sent my mom that album, she opened it up. Disowned like that immediately. All right, not recommending that one. But that is going to do it for us. I hope we gave you some great Mother's Day gifts ideas.
There you go.
Have a great Mother's Day, and we will see you next time on Get to the Hook.